Hey guys, this video is for Wednesday, April 15th. I've had a lot of you guys emailing me and saying, hey, Mr. Gulak, can I retake that week 20 checkpoint? And that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I'm making a retake, and I'm gonna send that to you this morning on Wednesday. And so if you did not do so well, or even if you did well and maybe you missed one or two questions, you wanted a chance to get a better grade, that's fine. There are going to be different questions, so make sure you read everything very carefully. All right, it's that week 20 weekly reader, or if you're logging in, make sure you log into the fifth grade and then go straight to week 20. Okay, and you're going to read that article, One Nation, again. So let me go over again what this is all about. Okay, so that way you can that way you understand what's going on. Okay, this one is about Reconstruction, about making sure that the nation was going back together again after the Civil War. Because you remember when we talked about during the Civil War, the nation separated. We had the Confederate States versus the United States. Okay, now the Confederate States are part of the United States again, and they got to figure out how to piece all that back together. Okay, the South was having some trouble, and you're going to read about the South and what was going on there. That's going to be one of your questions. You're also going to find out about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln and who his vice president was and what his vice president planned to do after Lincoln was assassinated. Then you're going to read about the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments. Okay, and these three are extremely, extremely important. Okay, the 13th Amendment is what made slavery in the United States illegal. Okay, so all slaves in the entire United States are officially now free. Slavery is illegal, and that was the 13th Amendment. A lot of people think it was the Emancipation Proclamation that freed the slaves, but remember, it really didn't free too many slaves in the Emancipation Proclamation because Southern slave owners were not letting them go. Okay, this one now made it officially illegal for all of the United States, not just the Southern states. Okay, then the 14th Amendment came along. And the 14th Amendment came along and guaranteed civil rights for all citizens of the United States. So basically what that did, that made sure that all African Americans who were slaves and are now freed, they are now officially citizens of the United States, and therefore they should have all the rights that come to that. Okay? Now the 15th Amendment, that's the one that gave African American men the right to vote. It said we could not deny, it made it illegal to deny someone the right to vote based on their race and some other things as well. Okay, so African American men then were able to vote, not yet for women. Okay, that didn't come until much later, and we're going to get to that this year. All right, so keep those in mind. And then, of course, the South, because they did not like losing, they still weren't happy with African Americans now being free. They started passing laws called black codes, which were basically there just to prevent African Americans from having all the freedoms that they should have had. Okay, they were doing things like made it illegal for an African American to not have a job. They had to have permission from their not from their owners, but from their employers, the people they're working for, to do certain things. Okay, African Americans weren't allowed to own certain things, like they weren't allowed to own a certain amount of property, own businesses. They weren't allowed to work in certain places, weren't allowed to do all kinds of stuff. They even came up with ways that African Americans were not allowed to vote, and that's why they passed the 15th Amendment. And so you're going to see the black codes where they did a lot of things to try and take away rights from African Americans. Okay, so look very carefully into that. All right, so just a friendly reminder, guys. Now that we are taking grades, make sure you take every assignment, not just in social studies, but all your other assignments as well in math, science, language arts, even your electives in PE. Take those very seriously because they are going to be for a grade. Don't just go through it and just say, I'm just going to guess, and then all of a sudden you're stuck with a bad grade, okay? So make sure you focus. Make sure you take your time because we're only giving you, or at least in social studies I know, we're only giving you one assignment per week. Okay, so make sure you take your time on that assignment. Make sure you focus so that way you can get the good grade that you need. Okay, because we're going to try and keep it simple. And if you keep thinking, oh, this is going to be too simple, I'm just going to guess and click through. Okay, let's earn the things that we need to earn. All right. So if you need my help, okay, Wednesday I will be online. So make sure you come to the Google Hangouts for our class if you want to do that. If you're good and you think you got it, you go right on ahead, but if you have any questions, I'll be online So check the times and everything else, and hopefully see you either sometime tomorrow or sometime Wednesday or sometime next week. All right, guys? So see you later. Do well. Focus.